Morning everybody, it's a beautiful day again. I think next week the weather's changing, so got to get out and do some riding. And today I'm on the gravel bike and finding some tracks and trails. It's amazing how many bridleways are accessible on a gravel bike, so you have the best of both worlds. You can get out there on the roads and ride quite happily for miles, but you can also get on the trails and enjoy some scenery and some peace and tranquility. It's been an absolutely gorgeous day today. Nothing about just a couple of walkers, but just exploring and finding new ways. I've not been through some of these places before. There was one that was a little bit odd where we had to cross a golf course, but apart from that, no problem. It's amazing how many tracks and trails you can find in your local area. I think Komoot is a particularly good planning tool for that. I use Ride with GPS and I put the map setting on to Ordnance Survey cycle routes, and that usually picks them up. Or sometimes it puts you on a cycle route when you don't really want one because it might be a bit too rough. I've stopped here at the moment at Saltbee airfield. Saltbee airfield we saw in a previous video. It was a base for airborne troops during the Second World War. They flew gliders from here, towed them to drop the troops or land the troops at D-Day. And you can see the memorial here. Saltbee was home to both the RAF and then later the USAF, and saw action with huge numbers of troops being dropped over France on D-Day and also into Arnhem in September 1944. So a lot of history here. It could certainly tell some stories if it could talk. It's a marvellous location out here. They've even got the old air raid shelter. And it's still open, you can get into it. It's one thing going down it now in peacetime, but I'm imagining in wartime it would be a different kettle of fish. There you go, but at least you'd be safe. Well, we've had a great ride. We've done 35 miles. As you saw, quite a lot of it was off-road. So if you haven't tried any tracks and trails, certainly it's worth, if your bike's capable, having a look. Even road bikes, we've managed to do some of the easier tracks. Now, the ride didn't totally go to plan. I decided to leave the range extender fitted. It was already on the bike from a previous ride and there was still some charge in it, so I decided I'd leave it on. And that was a bit of a mistake because these tracks were quite rough, and with the weight of the range extender you'll see here that it's actually damaged the threads on the bottle carrier. So these screws are just pulling straight in and out, and as you can see the holder for the range extender is loose. In fact, the whole thing fell off during the ride, and if it hadn't have been for the fact that I'd got some cable ties, I'd have been in trouble. So there's a tip: if you're going on any very rough rides, try not to have your range extender fitted, and if you do, have it additionally braced with some cable ties or some other sort of fastening. So if anyone has any advice on how to fix this, I'd be grateful. Wendy has joined me again today, and she's been on the Ribble Hybrid, and one of the things we've noticed today, or she's noticed, is that she's found it harder to keep up with me. Now I'm on the CGR, she's on the hybrid. The weight's the same. Obviously I weigh a lot more than she does, and also had the range extender on. So what's the difference? Well, I think the difference is the gearing. That she's actually using the SRAM gearing, which is much more aligned to riding off-road, and does very well on hills, whereas mine is more road-based on the Shimano 105. So that's the only thing I can think of, because fitness-wise, we're both about equal on normal road bikes. So I hope you've enjoyed that short ride with us. It's enjoyable to get out on the trails, especially when it's sunny like this. So until next time, see you then.